Here's why achievers, leaders, contributors, you, the hero, have no safety net. Now, very few would talk about this, but if you've ever been in a position where you are the one that always takes the lead in everything around you, you know how it feels when you go through something and realize there's nobody else around for you. There's no safety net for you. You're the one that was always giving when no one else would give. You are the one that was always available when no one else was around. You gave you the last of your resources when everyone else was holding on to theirs. So the question is, what happens in the rare occasions when you go through something that's extremely painful? And what I'm talking about is something that breaks you a little bit, that kind of crushes your spirit. You realize that because of your position as a leader, as an achiever, it doesn't matter whether you're the man of the house, the father, the husband, whether you're the mother, doesn't matter whether you are the leader in your religious group, doesn't matter whether you are the manager or the owner of the company, and you're always there for other people. When you go through something, it's a lonely space to be. For about 10 years, I was an elder in a religion that I absolutely loved. And when I went through the process of divorce, prior to going through that process, I stepped down as an elder voluntarily and trying to save my marriage of almost 20 years, discovered that was not going to work, and I went through the process of going through a divorce. Now, I'm not religious now. I value the time I spent in my religion, but I'm a Bible student now. What I want to share with you are some facts that I'm very familiar with, that you're probably very familiar with, but there's 5 reasons why, as the person who's always taking the lead, you feel that you don't have a safety net. You feel it's unfair. But I'm going to show you and prove to you why it's not unjust. After I share with you these 5 reasons, I will also share with you 4 things that you can do, 4 tools you can apply to recharge yourself, because no one else is going to be there to recharge you. Here's number 1. The reason why it's hard for you whenever you experience something extremely painful is because those that know you expect you to recover. And so you don't want to disappoint them. That's number 1. Number 2, in that line, you have no one to approach to talk to because you don't want to burden them with what you have going on. Number 2, that's valid. Number 3, you may not have an accountability partner or a coach. When you experience something that's extremely painful, that you feel is on your level, that has a credibility, that understands where you are, where you need to go, and also understands a little bit about your background. Now, an advantage that I had when I was going through the process of separation and divorce is I had an accountability partner. I had someone that I admired and I respected. We would initially talk every single day, probably for 2, maybe 3 years. And as time goes on, we talk less and less and less. And he moved on and got married. He's been married probably 4 or 5 years now, doing extremely well. Now we may talk once or twice a year. But in the beginning, he was my accountability partner every single day. End of the day, we would talk. I had lost my business. That was not a major issue, just a massive failure. But going through the process of stepping away from my religion because my marriage wasn't working, that was a very difficult time, extremely painful time. The interesting thing about our conversations, and this is something you have to note about an accountability partner, everything he said to me that I was going to deal with next or experience next, many times that I didn't believe because I was still very idealistic, was accurate. I would experience something 2 or 3 years later, 2010, probably 2012, 2013, and remember, you know what? He said this to me 2 or 3 years ago. So one of the challenges that you'll have as an achiever is the ideals that have always worked for you. Many times they won't continue to work. They have to be adjusted. An idealist who goes through the fire becomes a realist, and that realist component has not been fully developed. That's number 3. Here's number 4. You know that you can recover in due time. You know, every achiever is going to recover in due time. That is the catch. That is the problem. That's what I knew for a fact. I was a personal development student. I had read the Bible probably 14 times by that time. I read the Bible 16 times up to this time. I'm reading the Bible 17 times now. But in that period, it took me 8 years to read through the whole Bible, which shows you what I was experiencing. But it's the belief that time heals all wounds, that you'll fix it in due time, that traps us. The reason is because you don't have the time to be down for a long period of time. Why? Because people are looking up to you to recover. Why? Because the great qualities that you've taken many times decades to develop, the longer it takes for you to recover, the more acidic the time is on your great qualities. What do I mean? You'll discover that some of your ideals, some of your great qualities don't work. You'll feel they don't work, even though they still do. You'll feel like you put them on the shelf. Well, let me put this aside now and deal with what's in front of me. The problem is that when you surrender a good quality that you feel others have taken advantage of for whatever reason, the changes you make cause you to become a different type of person. Thus, the quality that you figuratively put on the shelf is not there anymore. It's gone. See, you have new connections in your mind. There are certain qualities that I had when I was considered myself a nicer guy. I'm a good guy now, a nicer guy. I don't have. I can't even go back to get them because they don't make any sense to hold on to them. That's what happens when you let too much time pass if you go through something. If you go through divorce, you let too much time pass for you to recover, to get to the point of forgiveness. It's important. Now, here's why this is so urgent for you to understand. Number one, you don't have a safety net. There's a reason for that. I'm going to share the reason when I discuss point number 3. We've discussed point number 1, the 5 reasons why it's very difficult for you. Here is point number 2. What is it that you can do? The first thing that needs to be done is decide in advance that you're going to grow through the experience, not endure through the experience, not hold on to the experience, not try to stay the same through the experience, because it's trying to stay the same that gets us stuck. We begin to feel that others are taking advantage of our weak state, and some of them are, because you have the law of polarity. The law of polarity says the opposite, equal and opposites must always exist. Just like you have someone that admired your success, looked up to you, right? You were that person to them. You have other people who want to take advantage of your weakened state, that you're down, that you're crushed, that your life is not in order like it was before. And it's not you thinking about them that makes you move forward and succeed, recover. It's you thinking about the fact that you don't have the time to lose the great qualities that made you the person that you were. Grow through the experience. Recover quickly. Here are the 4 tools that you can use to be able to move forward and grow. Before I share them with you, the first thing that you must decide to do is to forgive the younger version of yourself, because you do know better now. As time goes on, you will learn better. You will be able to see that certain things you, instead of giving, you should have been preserving. You'll learn that. Choose to forgive the younger version of yourself who could not make the decisions that you could have told him or her to make at that time. If I can go back to the 2010 version of myself, there's certain advice I'd give that person. Relax. It'll be all right. Stay focused. Make the right decisions. Take your time. Move forward in this area. There's certain advice I would have given, because what I know now is not what I knew then. I know that. So forgive the younger version of yourself. Here's the 4 things that you need to do. These things will help you do what I call skip the down stages when you go through something painful. 5 stages in general. I'll share them with you. Anger, guilt, depression, down stages. That's the shock phase. Any negative emotion that you experience is in the shock phase. There's 3 phases that I teach. Shock, the shock phase, the adjustment phase, the renewal phase, phases. In the shock phase, the first 3 stages is anger, guilt, depression. It doesn't matter what you experience that's very painful, whatever you call it, if it's a negative emotion, it's in the shock phase. If you're willing to forgive yourself and move forward to do that, you skip guilt and depression. Positive anger allows you to do that. I'll discuss it at another time. You can skip that, move directly to the up stages, which is the ability to forgive, accept, and move forward. That's when you go through something extremely painful. I'm using the example of divorce, but whatever is most painful for you, you can use that. But for an achiever, if you've been married, you go through the process of divorce, that's usually it's traumatic. 4 things. First is refuel. Refuel. Take in the mental nourishment, personal development. Bible reading works best. You don't have to be religious to read the Bible. Bible reading works best. Take in the mental fuel to feed your mind. That's first. Number 2, rejuvenate. Right? Get that youthful vigor. Your ideals have to be refined. Your beliefs have to be refined, but your youthful vigor, that grit that has made you where you are. Get that back. Hold on to it. That youthful strength, the love you had at first, right, which is spiritual. Number 3 is to refresh. That is the love you had at first. Just reset it, start all over again, right? If you had a bad relationship that went south, learn from it. Once you learn everything that you can learn from experience, you don't have to keep on holding on to experience because everything that you can learn from it has been pulled out of it. So let it go. If you don't let it go, you begin to transfer. You become the hurt person that can hurt someone else. You become the person that's not safe to love. You become the person that cannot love unconditionally. Therefore, whatever happened in the past has now got you trapped, is living rent-free in your mind. It's not necessary. That's number 3. Number 4, recharge. When a mind is in a depleted state, it needs minds vibrating at a higher energy to recharge. Therefore, get an accountability partner, get a coach, get a mentor, even virtual. I have several virtual mentors. I buy their books, listen to their tapes, looking at their YouTube training. But get someone who's vibrating at a higher energy level, who's hopefully been through what you've been through, and listen to what they have to say. That will recharge you. 4 things: refuel, rejuvenate, refresh, recharge. Why? You simply don't have the convenience of being down. You don't have a safety net. You don't have someone to go to. You can spend your time, being upset about it if you want to, but it won't help you. That's what I'm going to share with you with this part. See, those who are looking for your downfall, they'll be surprised. Jealous, but also be surprised at your quick recovery. Now, third part, main part, here's what I want to share with you. This is the spiritual training I want to do. It's impactful. Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 through 15. Here is what Jesus said. Pay attention. It'll make all the sense in the world. Here is what he said. He said, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its strength, with what will its saltness be restored? It is no more usable for anything but to be thrown outside to be trampled on by men. And if you've ever experienced something painful where you've allowed yourself to be so weak that you don't have any energy, you'll discover that those that can step on you will step on you. Those that can take advantage of your weakness will take advantage of your weakness. Here's what he said next. He said, you are the light of the world. A city cannot be hid when situated upon a mountain. People will light a lamp and set it not under the measuring basket, but upon the lampstand, and it shines upon all those who enter into the house. Here's why that's important. The light that you have always been in the lives of others, you must keep that light. You don't have the convenience of letting it grow dim. When people meet you, when people have met you in the past, they could see your spirituality. They can see your energy. They could feel it. They could see your light. You must maintain that. That's why you must maintain your ability to be the salt, to be the preservative in the lives of others. Here's what he said last. He said, you are the light of the world. Let your light shine before men so that they may see your fine works and give glory to your Father who's in the heavens. That is why, as a leader, as a contributor, as an achiever, as a person that's always there for someone else, no matter what you experience, you must, as quickly as possible, recover to continue to be the salt that preserves your inner circle, the people that are depending upon you. You must continue to be the light that when people are exposed themselves to you, they can see it. And you must continue to be the light that executes the actions that when people see what you can do, give glory to your Father who's in the heavens. That's what I do now. Not religious, but I appreciate the time that I spent in my religion. I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, when I was gone too long. I adjusted not to being religious. But everything that I learned, I value and appreciate. So hopefully what I've shared with you will help you to, if you're going through something painful right now, you could decide that you have to recover quickly, that you don't let it break you down. Because I have seen during the time I was an elder and after, people that have been broken down, and it's not a good picture. I was broken down for a long time, crushed. Took me years to recover. I've learned how to compress that time, right? So instead of it taking years, it takes weeks, maybe a month or so. Hopefully that I share something with you that's impactful. I want to wish you all the blessings and success you deserve.